Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. Before starting, if you enjoyed this content, giving it a like and a subscribe, it's a free way to support the channel as I can continue to create videos like this. Now going into the track guide itself, turn 1 can be tricky. What I'm doing here is firstly I'm traveling the shortest distance, so I'm going diagonally towards turn 1. So you don't want to be all the way on the right here and travel a longer path by going around the corner. Instead you want to hit this kink in the white line, the point in which the white line goes from straight to left. Like right now here, you want to position the car here, and from this point onwards you will go diagonally, meaning you will just keep the car straight from this position towards the braking zone like this. It's important to open up the corner by placing the car with the antenna on the white line here. If you go a bit more, then you will get an off track. In terms of the braking itself, I'm braking at the white line on the track, this white line around number 3. So slightly past this white line, I'm applying the brakes, and I want to brake initially in a straight line whenever I have my peak force, like right now, but then I will start really quickly to steer more while I'm bleeding the brakes, because you want to hit this apex early on. This corners, turn 1 and turn 2, double apex corner, you can almost see both of them as a single corner and a longer corner which you will double apex. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting very close to this red sausage curve while still on the brakes. I'm braking quite hard initially, and I'm using a 56.0 brake bias. I'm using the fixed setup, but I lower the brake bias so I can brake a bit more aggressively right here. And while hitting this curve, you have to get very closely. You want to stay tight here. You see, my car doesn't track out more towards the center of the track. It keeps a very narrow line, so it's like a U-shaped line. You don't want to push the car deep, because with this car and with open wheelers, having a tighter line is quicker. You will travel a shorter distance. You don't gain that much by pushing the car wider. You will actually lose time. So keeping a tight line around here, and I'm already back on throttle. As you can see, I'm modulating it a bit, and look how much I'm cutting this curve. I'm going completely over it almost. So this is gonna be key for turn 1, turn 2. Stay close to the red sausage curves. Close here. Push the throttle before arriving here, very close to the second one as well, and then fully committing to the throttle, using all the track here, and this is how you can carry the most amount of speed. Now for the next corner right here, I'm braking before number 1, so what I'm doing here, I'm not actually looking at number 1. I'm positioning the car, so I try to put the car from the right side to the left, to bring it all the way to the left. And the moment that I arrive here, that's the moment where I'm braking. I'm looking at the corner, I'm not looking at number 1, but as you can see, I'm braking close to number 1. I'm just pressing the brakes and then letting the car roll without downshifting. I'm losing a bit of time here because I'm braking a bit too hard. You just want to barely touch the brakes. In your mind, you have to use the brakes for rotation, just 1% on the brakes. But what's gonna be key around this corner, it's to get this close to the curb, almost go completely over it, like this. You can kiss it in this part, so it's funny because if you look at this curve, the form factor of this curve makes it very easy to exploit it, because as you can see here, it has its tallest point in the center. But if you look on the left side around here, it's not that, the height is not that big, so you can mount this part. It becomes difficult if you just get the center of it. But if you use like the first 40% of it, this one part around here, you can easily gain 1/10 by hitting it here every time. 1/10 in this corner just by hitting here, like this. it feels very rewarding when you do it right, and you have to try it. You have to get that feel for it, because there's a lot of lap time to be gained to getting that close to the red sausage curb, because all the red sausage curb on this track will have the same form. So going into the next one, here I'm doing something that's not very obvious, but I've seen it in my replays, and I'm doing it on purpose obviously, but I'm putting my left tires a bit on this gravel. So if you notice here, maybe the quality is not great, but if you notice here, there's a bit of shape of the tire that has went to this gravel. You can get away with putting the tire on this dirty part of the curve without getting an off track and without losing anything. So you will open up this corner more, so you can keep the throttle at a higher level, and this is what I'm doing here. So super important to open up this corner and put your left tires almost kissing this sand around here. I'm turning at the end of the curve whenever this white triangle is starting to appear, and I'm turning with 100% throttle going in. Now when I'm getting closer, I'm dropping the throttle. As you see, I'm dropping it to 36, and then I'm putting back on before getting to the red sausage curb. And again, look how close I'm to the curb. And this is gonna give you a great run around here. So if you will drop the throttle to 0, you will lose a lot of time. If you will just barely touch the brakes, you will lose a lot of time. The faster way around this corner is to just drop the throttle, let's say to 40%, and then bring it back up. But to be able to do that, you have to open up the corner and you have to turn a bit earlier than you think. Now going into the next corner, my reference for braking is the number 2 around here. So close to number 2, I'm braking and I'm looking at this red curb here. This is a very important detail, and this will make the whole difference in this corner, because if you will look at this curve with white and blue, you will miss it. You will miss this corner, you won't take as much as you can from it. Because this is a long corner, your apex point is not this curve, but it's this red sausage. So you don't want to look here. If you look here, you will lose time. You just want to look here. It's a vision issue. So braking while I'm looking at this point, because I want to arrive with my car here. That's the highlight of this corner. You want to push your throttle at this point when you're close to this red sausage curb. This is gonna give you a very good run through this corner. And now going into the uphill part, this is a bit tricky. This is a blind corner. I'm using number 2 as a reference for turning and braking. So at number 2, I'm turning, just barely pressing the brakes. You don't want to brake very hard. Looking at the red sausage curb, I want to get close to it. I have a moment of oversteer while going through the corner, and I miss it a bit. Because I miss it a bit, you will see me losing time here. So it's super sensitive to get as close as you can and kiss this part of the red curb. Because then look, I'm gonna lose here like half a tenth just by missing it with 10 centimeters. So it's crazy, but this is how precise you want to be if you want to be quick around this track. This track really rewards being pixel perfect. Now going into the corkscrew, I'm braking at this white line around here. There's a white line at the beginning of the curb, so at this point in time I'm applying the brakes, and I want to push the car to have it more on the right before the corner. So I'm going in a straight line now. And now at this point, as you notice, I'm not turning left, I'm turning just 1 degree to the right, because I want to open up this corner so the car will be more towards the center right. The closest you have it to the white line, the easiest is going to be this corner, but if you have it too close, then you have to sacrifice a lot of speed. So there's a balance that you have to find between making the corner easy and losing too much lap time. Staying in third gear while still on the brakes, and I aim to put my left tire on this dirt around here to cut it like this. This is gonna give you the perfect run through this corner, because you want to imagine that you want to go in a straight line between this corner right here and this one right here. So if you will go like a snake in an S, then you will lose a lot of time and you probably won't use all the track on entry. So in order to make it easier, in order to make it more efficient, you have to cut here like this. This part right here, this needs to be cut like this, and the next one as well, this one right here. And then you're going in you're minimizing the distance traveled. This is the key objective. Putting the throttle, staying in third gear, now bringing the car towards the right side. Don't go all the way because it's not needed, just a bit on the right. And I'm looking at the red sausage curb again, keeping it flat, going close to it, using all the track here. And now for this corner, I'm braking in the middle of the curb. You can get away with braking a bit later, so I was a bit under the limit in this corner, but I was afraid that I will miss it and then botch this corner. But you can brake just a bit later, downshift to fourth gear, trail brake up until you get close to going downhill towards the curb, and then pushing the throttle. You want to be this close to the red sausage curb again. You see there's a bit more space here. So because I braked a bit too early, my speed was a bit too low, so you know you have a good corner if you hit the red sausage curb on the apex, but also the car gets pushed here. So there's 1/10 in this corner for sure. And going into the last corner, I'm braking slightly past number 2. So at this point in time I'm braking. Don't use this blue and white curb to brake on it. It will make the braking a bit less efficient because you have to brake quite hard here. You see I'm picking 80%. And if you will brake on the curb, the curb will bounce the tire up and down, and then it won't make contact with the tarmac at all times, and because of that the braking won't be as efficient as it could be. Braking in a straight line, then quickly turning while in second gear at this point, and I'm looking at the red sausage curb because you can abuse it a lot. You can cut it almost this dirt and the whole curb like this, and the moment that you cut it, then you should put the throttle back on. You will arrive to this green part, and don't push the car immediately to the left. You will scrap speed from the tires, so you want to keep the car straight because there's not an off track if you continue to go straight like this. Even though you are hitting this lighter color tarmac, it still won't be an off track, and then you're gonna get back on the track. So don't hurry to go back on the track because you will scrap speed. Keep the car in a straight line, and in short, that's a track guide around Laguna Seca with F4. This is a very technical track and it's super important to be consistent, so in a race you might want to give a bit of margin of error, because if you do a small mistake you can easily end up in the gravel and of course the race will be over. But I think it's gonna be a good racing week. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something, and if you want to improve at a quicker pace, you can check out the GitGud racing course. It's in the video description. It has around 7 hours worth of lessons, and it will take you to the next level. Thank you for watching and looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye bye.